Well, I'm still working on this Whirligig. I want to show you what I'm having problems with this wing here. I think I misdrilled it. I think it's, instead of going straight up and down, it's a little bit off. I'll show you. Watch when I spin it. You can just barely see. It's got a little, it wants to move. When I do this one, nothing. So it's just a little off-setter. It almost looks like it's going this way. Of course, I'm exaggerating. So I got this other wing that I cast, and I'm gonna finish sanding it, and then I'll replace this one. I might be able to plug the hole and re-drill it. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, I wanted to explain how I'm putting these bearings on and all that. Basically, I've got my 3/16 inch rod threaded with 1032 threads, and this threads right into the little arm thing that sticks out. I cut a slot fairly deep. Well, first I get the bearings onto the shaft, and then I take a pair of wire cutters, or I got these things. I like these better. These are like some kind of cable cutters, but wire cutters will work too. And you can kind of see where I've already made marks with my wire cutters. I try to sneak up on it. See, I started here, and then here's my mark here. That keeps the bearings from going that direction. It's called swaging, I think. I'm just deforming the metal a little bit, just enough so the bearing can't slide on the shaft. So that's that. And then once I get that positioned, I'm checking back and forth, kind of to see how much of the shaft I got sticking out. So when I get it where I want it, then I can come in here with the screwdriver and just bend this out slightly. And now the bearing it's locked on there. It can't go anywhere. You might want to have a little bit of slop, I don't know. I don't have any on this one. Alright, so that I can just take this and put it in my wing. This one needs a little help. Alright, I got it in there. Alright. So now I got my bearing in there. And see, up next, I got a plug somewhere. So now I got that in there, I think you could put a little JB Weld inside there to hold these bearings in place, but I don't think they're really gonna move. So the next step is to plug it up, and I cast some plugs. They're not the best plugs. I think I'm gonna go buy some regular aluminum rod that's like 1/2 inch. Some other sizes too. I cast these myself. So I got this plug, and I'm just gonna pound it in there. Before I pound that in there, I'm gonna drill a hole right here about 7/32 or 1/4 inch, something. No chance that the shaft will be rubbing on this cap, so it just gives you a little extra clearance. And I guess I'm almost ready to do it, but I need to refine this a little bit. I want it to be a real nice tight fit. I don't even think I'm going to put any adhesive in there. I'm just going to pound it in there. Okay, well, I cut off the excess and I drilled that hole too deep on my plug. So I found that this crosscut file works great on the aluminum. It didn't get clogged up. So we'll just go like that. We'll have to plug up that little hole there. Find a piece of aluminum. It's not as big, so hopefully it won't be too big a deal. Okay, to plug up this little hole, I cut off one of these things, one of these plugs, and now I've got it chucked up into my drill press here, and I'm going to use this crosscut file. Let's see how it works. Well, I cut this little piece off here from this. Now I'm going to hammer it in there. I think I'll use this little one this time. Let's see if we can't find the sweet spot. It's right about there, maybe. Just a little at the beginning. It's gonna be a lot better than the other one. I think I'll file a flat spot on each side, and I'll make a little wrench or something and just screw that all the way in. Well, I'm getting ready to put another coat of powder coat on this Peach's Whirligig body. So I thought I'd film it and show you my setup and how I'm doing things. I was able, this is my third attempt at that body. It had some really bad slumping right here, and I patched it up with some JB Weld and filled in the slumping. The powder coating didn't want to stick to that JB Weld because it doesn't conduct electricity. This powder coating system I got from the Harbor Freight. I paid about $70, I think. Something like that. Well, it's got this wire coming off it.
That wire is the ground, and the powder coat gun has high voltage that charges the particles as they're coming out of the gun. So they're attracted to the ground then.
If you get the gun too close to the metal, it'll arc and give you a little zap. Scare the crap out of you. Excuse me. Pardon my French. I sanded this down to 400 grit and try to get out all the orange peel. And I had quite a bit of bubbling going on with this thing. And I think this is like going to be my 4th coat, maybe 3rd or 4th coat. So hopefully I won't have all the bubbles be gone this time. And let me show you the wings, since I'm at it here. I'm just right in the middle of sanding them. I cast these wings yesterday. So I got the holes drilled and everything. I got this one. It's a lot skinnier on this end than that end because I was trying to balance it. And the wings are getting pretty thin, so I didn't want to take too much material off there because they're already pretty thin. So I tried to thin it up here and take some material from right in here. I got it pretty balanced. This other one, it's not quite so close. It's not balanced as well. Well, I guess we could take a look here. It's almost balanced. It's a little bit heavy on that end. I wiped that thing all down nice with some solvent so it's ready for the powder coat. You don't want any kind of fingerprints or any kind of grease on there. I was having problems with the powder coat sticking on that spot where I had the JB Weld. So I took a rag and got a little motor oil on it. Because I saw a video where a guy took some WD-40 and he sprayed it on something and then put powder coat on it. It was some kind of part that wouldn't conduct electricity or something. I forget what it was. Anyway, that's how I got the idea. So I rubbed a little motor oil on there and then I turned the part this way and I just sprinkled powder coat on top of where I just wiped the motor oil, and that helped it stick. And it took, like I say, I think I've got 3 coats on there. The first 2 coats, you could really see where the JB Weld was. It's just this last coat that covered it up. I got a little foot pedal here that turns on the electricity, and I've got air. I've got it coming out. It comes out at about 10 psi. I got a little regulator right here. Okay, I took my foot off the pedal there. trying to get that spot that has the JB Weld on it, where she can't touch it. Put this plastic under here, you can recover some of this powder coat. Okay. Power off. I started out, I drilled some holes and I put these things in here. Here and here, here. But it's kind of a lot of work. What you can do is just cut these off. Cut these wire things off. It's a lot easier. You don't need all of them. So I thought that was kind of a neat little trick I discovered. Instead of having to do all the work of installing these things, just cut a few of these and you'll have something nice to rest your parts on. I think this rack works great because you don't want to jostle it or try to move the part. You want it to bake on the rack. You don't want to try to move it from one place onto the rack. So it's nice to have it already on the rack. So you can put the rack in the oven. Well, I got this wing all sanded up and ready to powder coat, but before I did that, I saw in a video that on castings you should pre-bake the part first to degas it, kind of. And I noticed on the first Peach's body, the first time I applied the powder coat, there was bubbles all over the place because I didn't preheat it or pre-bake it. So this wing, I just got it out of the oven at 400 for about 50 minutes. And hopefully I won't get a bunch of bubbles like it did with that Peach's body. The other thing I want to talk about is there's actually a plug right here. You can't, ooh, geez, it's pretty hot. You can't see it. The only way you can see it is all around it is the pitting. The only part that's not pitted is the plug. I thought that's kind of funny. But I just got it close and then I pounded it in there, so it's like a press fit. And then I sanded it all smooth. You can't even see it. So I thought that's kind of neat. Well, there's also something that you can do. I saw on the video, it's called hot flocking, where you preheat the part to 200 degrees and then try powder coating it. And so I've been doing a little bit of that, and it seems to work well. I think you get a little better flow out. And so that's sure it. That powder coat is sure amazing stuff. Just the feel of it on the metal is just feels like part of the metal. Okay, well that's all I wanted to show you. I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit and powder coat it white. Well, here's the first Peach's body that I got to come out halfway decent. It had that big slumping right in here. I think it was on this side. You can't even tell anymore. How good the light is here. But you can't see it. It looks pretty nice to me. this light I'm using makes everything look a little bit yellow for some reason. It's a lot more brilliant white, I can tell you. See what it looks like without the light. Oh, that looks a lot more different. So I think this thing looks fantastic. I just need to get some wings for this one. I got that one, I've got one wing for it, but I need to cast another one. Because it's coming along nicely. It's really exciting, this powder coating and the casting. It just seems like it's going to last forever, or at least as long as the bearings. Alright, let's take a look at the other side while we're at it, I guess. I think this thing is fantastic. There's a few little bubbles here and there, but I think I'm going to call that good. It's about as close as I can get. I like the peach color. Yeah,